Hi, I'm Cecilia Ding. I'm a self-growth coach and a counselor. I specialize in helping overachievers to go from overachieving to self-achieving. I was often asked, how do you define an overachiever? I was very much an overachiever, or I identify as one, for the first 35 years of my life. And I continue to be as I recover from some of the typical symptoms of perfectionistic, high demand, self-criticism, not knowing how to validate oneself, or not knowing when to rest, and feeling guilty whenever a day is not perfectly executed, or having some kind of setback, or even just a adjustment period. What I see an overachiever as someone who basically are driven to achieve and do things and achieve at a high standard based on the fear of not being good enough, rather than the passion and motivation of being interested in doing well in something and produce outcomes and impacting other people. And that's very much where I was as a child, and later on as an adult, working in the finance world, trying to make the biggest amount of money, and feeling like I can receive the the approval of society and parents, and admiration of those around me. And that's pretty much the outcome of trauma, of poverty, and a lot of difficulties that my parents grew up with and I inherited. And without blame or criticism for whatever my parents had to go through, and what is the some of the expectations or standards they've passed to me, I embrace some of the wonderful things about an overachiever, which is I do have high standards and I do work hard. And that has provided me with a lot of opportunities and accomplishments. However, I have consciously decided in my 30s to make that transformation from overachieving for external reasons or for other people's expectation to self-achieving. So to highlight the difference of overachieving from self-achieving again is, and a self-achiever is someone who has a very clear sense of who they are, and accept and embrace that, despite the fact that it can be imperfect. It's a work in progress all the time. But what motivates them is to keep on exploring and being motivated of their personal interests, and they have goals and values that are not out of fear or need for other people's approval, even if we all love and appreciate that. But ultimately, it stems from a place inside, from being connected to the self, from being aware of who they are, and wanting to continue expanding that, growing that, and enriching that. And this is where I see myself perhaps needing to be in the work progress mode for the rest of my life, because there's a lot of very powerful, long-lasting effect of being an overachiever, and being wounded by the perfectionism and self-criticism and the constant lack of safety to be just who I am, to accept who I am, can be overwhelming. And so it takes really the rest of my life to be aware and mindful of which part of me is being activated, and gently reducing the impact of the negative and fearful aspect, and using the work ethics and discipline I have accumulated for causes and for motivation that are more authentic and stemming inside of me. And this is where I feel very passionate about my work in supporting others, because it's a journey together for all of us, and in helping others being more aware and being more connected to themselves is very self-fulfilling for me. And that's how I have chosen to become a self-achiever, is by completing these tasks and these motivation in facilitating the growth in others.